Rolling in A.
Alright, we are rolling. Sound is speed. We have a mark. And Jack, you start, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And action.
Did you hear that the Hanson's dog died? That ugly one?
Same dog that bit me when my car slid into the ditch? I remember that dog. Cinnamon-colored dog.
Yeah. Rocky. I think that's what they called him. How'd he bite you anyway?
He bit me hard. In the leg. Audrey was home. I had gone over to borrow a snow shovel or something, and he bit me. I said, you know, your dog bit me. She said, my dog don't bite. I was like, okay, well, the dog's just sitting there looking up at me, smiling, wagging his tail, so I left it at that. I just shoveled out my car and left.
That was a terrible dog, man. He bit so many people. I mean, he bit Clint right on the keister once. I'll get him to show you the scar if you really want.
Yeah, well, I decided to teach that dog a lesson, not to bite. Had to give that dog a little oyster therapy. So a few weeks later, I go back over to the Hansons to borrow a post hole digger or something. Audrey sends me around to the tool shed. Well, in my pocket, I've got a couple of chunks of sirloin and a plastic cup with 2 raw oysters in it.
Oh, this ought to be good.
The dog's trotting along beside me, so I flip him a chunk of sirloin, takes it in his mouth, swallows it down, glug. Then another one, glug. Well, then I toss him an oyster. Oh man, he catches it in his mouth, and as it goes down his throat, he starts to spit it back up. You ever seen a dog do that?
No. I can't say that I have. But I have seen an elephant give another elephant a blowjob once before.
He was gagging. Wait, what?
Yeah.
A blowjob, an elephant?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, he was gagging, down on all fours.
Yeah.
And he's trying to stick his paw down his throat. So I take the other oyster and I just rub it around his food dish so he's thinking about oysters into his future. And then I went home.
Well, did he learn his lesson?
I never got to find out. I didn't see the Hansons again for 5 or 6 years. Yeah, but I do recall that every time I drove by their place, that dog would chase my car for about a mile.
Yeah, right? I mean, he chased me a couple times too. And I swear, I clocked that dude going like 50 miles an hour.
I didn't see the Hansons again until I went there for my nephew's wedding that summer. He married their daughter, Marie, and she wanted to have a garden-style wedding at home. So I got all dressed up, and I put a tear gas pen in my pocket. Yeah, when I got over there, the dog sees me, his ears peel back, and he starts growling. Well, I whipped out that pen, gave him a little whiff of it.
Nice. Do you still have that pen by any chance? I could use that on my wife.
Right.
I'm not kidding.
Anyway, we go to the wedding, and the whole time that dog is watching me. I mean, he's circling. I got my hand in my pocket. Every time I look around, he's behind a tree or skulking around in the house. After the reception, when I'm in the line, I feel something brush against my leg.
No.
I whip out the pen, and I almost gas Ralph Hampy's 2-year-old kid.
Oh my gosh. He's an ugly kid. I mean, honestly, you probably should have just gassed him. That would have saved him a lot of bullying that's going to come his way in the future.
Yeah, well, I told myself, just relax, you know, and sure enough, that's when the dog made his move. It was after the lunch, and I was bringing in the dirty dishes back into the house.
Yeah.
I had this tray of really expensive cut glass goblets, and I'm going up the back stairs, and I catch out of the corner of my eye the dog lunging towards me. Well, I turn around, I drop the tray, I go for the pen, and I fire it at him.
Yeah.
Well, the wind blows the tear gas up into my face. I fall down on the ground. I can't see a damn thing. I roll around, and that dog bit me on the lower lip.
What'd the Hansons do?
Nothing. They thought I was drunk. She told me, go home and break your own dishes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Dog died last week. Yeah. He thought he was a lot younger than he really is. Got in a fight with a bigger dog, and then he died of embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Hansons haven't talked to me since then. 6 years.
Wow.
I see them sometimes at Ralph's. If they see me come up one aisle, they'll just scoot over, go right down the other one.
Wow. Sensitive people, man. I mean, one tray of busted goblets, and you become a pariah?
Yeah.
That's those Lutherans for you, though.
Cut. Okay, good. Joshua and William.